Welcome to Indianapolis. Today we have the season opener for the Quantum Contender Series, season 1. Now, if you just this was the Undisputed Cup Series, so this is season 2 of the Undisputed Cup Series, but it is the Quantum Contender Series, season 1. And tonight we open it up at the Brickyard here in Indianapolis, the OHKAYA 212 here from the Brickyard. Qualifying just currently underway. These drivers have 5 minutes or 5 minutes, 2 laps of qualifying here currently on the pole for the season opener here tonight at Indianapolis. Currently on the pole right now. Their first lap. Currently on board here with the 10 of Cameron Gilmore, and now we have time to flood in Scott Kerber to the top of the board. Now Dan Barone will take that spot on board here. We're watching Cameron Gilmore, that 10 machine, now down the front straight. We'll see across the yard of Rince. Will it be enough to put it to the pole? And Cameron Gilmore, 2, 5, 4, 3, if it goes. Right there. The machine Gilmore on lap number 2 now. The fastest in qualifying right now with a 52.507. Last time, Kyle was able to take the win in the series. Now he's trying to win it in the Quantum Contender Series. We'll see what he can do as he completed the lap 1 there, puts it on the pole now. 2 as he heads down the back straightaway. Through turn number 3, he'll go up to the outside wall. Almost lost the. Lost it there. Kyle Schmitz off the turn. So he's out of it. Oh, he's going to get loose. And he's going to go around hard to the inside wall. Oh, he's going to hit the attenuator. And a hard hit there from Kyle Schmitz. But that will be his qualifying run over. Still, though, currently at the top of the board. A few drivers still yet to complete their second lap. Logan Gill, Dan Barone, they've wrecked it on their second lap. Now, one driver on this first lap, Daniel Jackson. Going to complete his first lap here. Off turn number 4. Another driver, Nick DeTregula. Now coming to complete lap number 2, 32.267. So last lap was shortened as at the reset, but the second lap also as well. So Trangula will not go anywhere. But now Daniel Jackson hops up to P6 in that 18 machine. Mike Marshall, one driver yet to set a time. And a few drivers still setting a second lap time. Daniel Jackson, see if he can pick up 4:10 here on lap number 2. Logan Gill also looking to pick up some time, and Dan Barone as well. Dan Barone and Logan Gill, they've wrecked on their second lap. So Daniel Jackson, best driver that's still out there on the racetrack. So you have Daniel Jackson, if he can pick up any time here on lap number 2. Mike Marshall with a 53.664. That actually goes to the bottom of the board there with a 22nd. Daniel Jackson going to the line, lap number 2, 52.834, slower lap there. Daniel Jackson, we'll see if Mike Marshall has anything, but that's going to be the time. And that means Kyle Schmitz, the last time we went here to the Brickyard, was the winner. And he's going to start it from the pole here tonight from Indianapolis. Drivers getting ready to grid for tonight's 212-mile race here from Brickyard. Just getting ready as these drivers gridding up. Ready to go racing. Last time we went here, we saw a couple cautions at the start, but we had a pretty long green flag run. We saw multiple green flag pit stops. We had a late race yellow that shook up a little bit towards the end, but it was a very long green flag run that shook up a lot of things. We saw a lot of different we saw many pit road mistakes being made that could end your night pretty quickly. If you make a bad pit road mistake, you're going to have to catch up from behind. We'll see who can master pit road tonight as well. But 85 laps here tonight. Going to see multiple pit stops. probably going to be a 2-3 stop race at least, based off the percentage of fuel these drivers will have. But before we get rolling and getting underway, let's take a look at our starting lineup for tonight's OHKAYA 212. Kyle Schmitz on the ball with a 52.237, and just about only a tenth of a quarter slower. Cameron Gilmore in that 10 machine will start second. Starting third tonight will be the 33 at Dan Barone, and Logan Gill will start fourth. Starting fifth will be a 3 at Calvin C. Smith, and Daniel Jackson will start sixth. Starting seventh will be Braden Van Wingerden, as starting alongside him. In the eighth position will be the 25 at Doran Hamilton. Starting ninth will be the 99 at Cody Pruitt, and Cody Dorsey, our previous champion, our Undisputed Cup Series champion. He'll start 10th tonight to try and defend his championship, and a little bit tonight. We'll start 10th. Starting 11th will be the 2 of Joshua Smith, and alongside him will be the 5 of Jason Bottoms. Starting 13th tonight will be the 71 of Stephen Horner. David Wells at the 22. He'll start 14th tonight. Starting 15th will be the 17 of Eric Riley, and Trenton Vesgrove will start 16th tonight. That's the 8 machine. Starting 18th will be the 17th will be the 53 of Robert Ravel, and Brent will start 18th, and then the 8 machine starting 18th will be the last season was Cody Dorsey able to take the championship. Laps on fuel. See these drivers being a little bit of strategy tonight. See how that plays out. These drivers 19 races on the schedule. We'll see how it plays out here as Quantum Contender Series Season 1 getting ready to go underway. This will be Kyle Schmitz, the previous winner here at the Brickyard, will be starting the 10 machine and Cameron Gilmore. Drivers getting ready to go race to lead the field to green here from the Brickyard. Our racing fans will take the hard left turn onto pit road. We're getting ready to start a brand new season. Schmitz and Gilmore on the front row. Into the restart zone, green flags in the air. We're underway for Quantum Contender Series Season 1 here from the Brickyard. hit for Stephen Horner. Very heavy damage. You just saw him in a battle with Brandon Newton, and now he's heavy damage. It looks like he's heavy impact. Stephen Horner here. And Horner very loose. Heavy hit. Stephen Horner, and that will be heavy damage. He's gonna have to use his fast player. Actually, he already used. Oh no, that was Tristan Visgrove. Visgrove came down there to use it, but we'll have a fast player. Cameron Field. Really caution at Indianapolis. That will that will kind of shake up a lot of different strategies here. Because now when we start with under 70, about 70 to just over 70 to go. It's about 45. That plays out for those drivers. I think everyone will come down pit road. Maybe take the tires, but maybe trappage would be very big importance here. Trappage is very important. Kyle Smith is 2 laps down, so he's going to stay out for the wave around. But no one, as Robert Whipple, he'll be the one lead lap driver to stay out on the racetrack. So he will take the race lead, but now everyone comes down pit road. Cameron Gilmore leads the field down pit road. Down here, taking the first driver, top about 1. Robert Whipple and Mike Marshall, they stay on the racetrack. Now Kyle Schmitz, he will get one of his laps back as he was 2 laps down. So Kyle Schmitz is going to try and get another lap back. Try to get back to the field. We'll see if Whipple, Mike Marshall, Robert Whipple, Mikey Marshall, we'll see how well they can hold out in front. out to 12. The Wivel Marshall on the front row take the restart. Green flag back in the air. Drivers getting ready, back on the way as you see a couple drivers fading out. Mike Marshall really loose on the restart there. This is going to cause a big stack on the outside lane as everyone's going to try and scramble around the way now. Cameron Gilmore up to second as everyone trying to get around Mike Marshall. This is called way back. Now, Cameron Gilmore picking up on down the back road. We're going to say side by side for the lead. Yes, he to break the draft down the front straightaway. He's looking right now down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Take that 6th place spot away. As right now, so far, that spot. Attacking out from Joshua Smith is in the bottom side by side. Down the slot back in line behind him. Gap takes some out the race lead for now as well. Down the front straightaway. Down to the turn number 1, to turn 4, Dan Barone still sitting in 3rd. Apologies for the lack of coverage. We're still trying to fix this audio issue. But right now, down the front straightaway, it's kind of about the same. No one really can give a couple tenths of each other. 30 really playing a big factor right now. We have seen a couple pit stops being made as Wibble has come down pit road as he is now 1 lap down as he stayed out during that one yellow we've had. Same with Mike Marshall as well. They both come down pit road. But so far, still down the back straightaway here for these leaders, but Gilmore is able to pull away from the rest of the field right now. Logan Gill though still trying to hold on to that spot. It's right now side by side as he's going to get to the inside here off of turn number 3 through turn number 4 now. We'll see if he holds on to that spot. It's actually easy. He'll actually take that spot easy. We'll see if he holds on to it, but still holds on to 4th now down the front straightaway. Gill will take that spot away. He'll hold on to that 4th place spot. right now though, Cameron Gilmore still holding on to the race lead. As the top 5 or so, only about 2 seconds apart, but they haven't really pulled away from the rest of the field. Oh, we got a 1 car down on the grass here. Looks like it may have been a lap machine. So on the apron is Mike DeTragala. So DeTragala down pit road, he's on the apron. He made a mistake there through turns over 3 and 4. Look what happened here off turn 3. Oh, hard on the outside wall. Almost gets hit by Cody Dorsey, but oh, hard on the inside wall. Really big hit from DeTragala. Actually, that left front looks actually might be knocked out of tail a little bit, but it looks okay. But DeTragala, he does have to come down pit road, take his fast fares. That would be heavy damage. But now Dan Barone, though, he's still trying to hunt down that back home with that 18 machine of Daniel Jackson. Cameron Gilmore still holds the lead. It's kind of been just kind of a if Daniel Jackson, Cameron, they can kind of cut that gap down. Oh, we have a caution out of the racetrack. I wonder where that one was. And what is DeTragala again off of, as he just got an incident, just came down pit road to take his damage. And it looks like that's going to be an issue for DeTragala. As that will be the yellow. Let's take a look at what happened here. It looks like he may have lost it off the pit exit. And he did, lost it. And oh, hard to the outside wall. Oh, almost collected another driver there. Able to hold on to it. Able to keep it out of everybody else's way. But that does bring out the caution. And the driver has to take evasive action there. That is going to be the yellow. And Cameron Gilmore will take the race lead. Stay the race leader, but they're lap 32 here into this one. We're going to take a quick break. We'll try and fix these audio issues a little bit from our end. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back here from Indianapolis. restart here for the Quantum Contender Series, race number 1 of the season, as Cameron Gilmore still able to hold the lead off of pit road. So apologies for the extended break there, trying to fix the audio issues, but hopefully it is a little bit better now. I did lower it back on the iRacing end, so hopefully the audio issues should be relatively fixed by now, but we'll see when we get back going. We're into Cameron Gilmore, going to be the race leader. Logan Gill will be alongside him on the outside, so Logan Gill was making his way up there during that during that charge there, during that run there. So about 20 laps run, so those drivers could only go about maybe 5 to 6 more laps anyways on fuel. So we'll see how well these drivers can do during this run as we'll restart here with just 51 to go here. But the pace car is off. Cameron Gilmore, Logan Gill will take it back to green flag back in the air as Cameron Gilmore with a good launch on the inside lane. He'll clip in front of Gill before he even get into turn number 1. Daniel Jackson, though, he's got a good run to the inside into turn number 1. They're making contact. Gill's being a little bit sideways through turn 1. This was a big mistake there for those drivers as they will hold on to it, but they'll both save it. Daniel Jackson will take that second spot away. Luke will hold on to third, but Dan Barone now under attack from Calvin Smith and Brandon Van Wingerden as down the back straightaway. This is good tail single file from the top 6 or so. But down the back straightaway. Number 1. Apologies for the microphone issues. That's basically my microphone is being so apologies for that. We're going to take this moment to do our element cricket up here though from Indianapolis. So we'll take a quick break and we'll enjoy the cricket up here from Indianapolis. Welcome back from our Crank It Up segment, as we should have fixed the microphone issues, so welcome back here to Indianapolis as Cameron Gilmore still holds the race lead, but he is now back out to the race lead by about a second and a half over Daniel Jackson. Calvin Smith has moved up to third, Brandon Wingard up to fourth, but Joshua Smith now up to the top 5, so Dan Barone, though, really big mistake, as he's now fallen way back out of there, so apologies during that tire kind of issues there, but now Dan Barone, as he was running up into that top 5, he's now back to 12th. So Dan Barone has fallen really far back now, as he's now stuck behind the 99 of Cody Pruitt. David Wells just out in front of them now, as they're under attack from Brandon Newton. But it looks like heavy damage to the front bumper of Cody Pruitt there, down through turn number 1 and 2. This will be Dan Barone now to the bottom. But now Daniel Jackson now trying to chase down Cameron Gilmore. Now his gap's down to about half a second, as Dan Barone has now fallen, jumping back up to the top 10 now after running in that top 5 just a little bit ago. But now through turn number 2, as Cameron Gilmore still holds that race lead over Daniel Jackson for now. But it has been all night long. It has been Cameron Gilmore. But you do have a yellow back out on the racetrack, as we have a caution. As we're trying to find out who that was. Looks like no one's losing any positions right now. So must have been one driver, maybe a lap down. Stephen Horner's okay. Will's fine. So we're trying to figure out the yellow now. So you have a quick, as a caution is back out here on lap number 45 of the night. So we're just past halfway in this one. Trying to find out who was the cause of that caution. I'm gonna click through the field here and see what the yellow was. Oh, it looks like there it is. It was Logan Gill. Logan Gill. He's actually he was also running up front earlier as well. He's also one of the drivers that fell back, but Logan Gill, cause of that one. Logan Gill looks like he hit the wall off of turn number 2. Heavy damage to that right front. Spun it back up the racetrack, lost it, and that brings out the caution. So now Cameron Gilmore now brings out the yellow there. And now that brings out the caution. So any pit cycles here. Now we'll restart here with under 40 to go. So now you're going to be a one-stop race from here on out. We have now been out on the racetrack. These drivers have been out for 12 laps, so everyone will come down pit road here, and everyone will come down pit road here, and try and top it off on fuel. And you get 4 tires as well, as I don't think you'll be able to make it on fuel if you stay out. It could be a little close, as they were expecting around 25 laps, so it's going to be right around that number. You could maybe stay out and try to make it on the one stop, but if you pit now, you'll be a very easily a one-stop race here. We'll see how that works out for those drivers. So Cameron Gilmore, everyone looking to come down pit road. No one stays out on the racetrack. So every driver will come down pit road. Stephen Horner looking like he will stay out, but he's also one lap down, so he's going to get his wave around there for Stephen Horner. This actually is the free pass position. Robert Whipple, he is 2 laps down. He did come down pit road, but so he's not electing to take his 1 lap to green. It'll be Cameron Gilmore. It's been dominant all night long. He would have had a battle with Kyle Schmitz, but Kyle Schmitz seemed to having some issues, as he's now off the racetrack. But he looks like he kind of just stood down tonight. But we'll see how well he can do throughout the rest of the season. Also, I have refreshed trading paints as well. So if any paint's wrong, so maybe a slight difference for some of these paints, but Apologies for that one as well. But Calvin Smith actually will take the race lead as he takes 2 tires. Stay with Daniel Jackson. So Cameron Gilmore, he'll fall back to 3rd. And under this yellow as these drivers will be coming to 1 degree. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here from Indianapolis. Welcome back here to the Brickyard as we're restarting here with just under 40 laps to go as we cross through the halfway point of this one. Getting ready to go back green here with 38 laps to go. So these drivers will have one more green flag stop if we can stay green to the finish. It'll be Calvin Smith and Daniel Jackson taking both taking 2 tires. They're both running up front in that top 5. They knew they didn't have anything for Cameron Gilmore, so the 2-tire strategy call. We'll see if it works out for Calvin Smith and Daniel Jackson. It'll lead us back to green. Green flag back in the air here from Indianapolis as Calvin Smith with a great launch to the inside lane. Daniel Jackson sitting in second as Cameron Gilmore with a good launch to the bottom here on the 4 tires. He's going to try and look down to the inside of Daniel Jackson. He's not going to be able to do it. They'll stay side by side here though with Austin Norris. As Austin Norris moves up to 4th, and still stay side by side with Cameron Gilmore. Austin Norris way up the racetrack as he'll fall behind Rusty Rafferty. So Rusty Rafferty move up into 4th as they all single file out. Cody Dorsey though tries to stay side by side with that one of those machines back there. Dan Barone, I believe. I'll just not have my time history. But Cody Dorsey down on the bottom of Dan Barone, but they'll slot back in line. And Wingard trying to take that spot away now from the 2 machine of Joshua Spence. Joshua Spence staying alongside as he'll fall back in as now Wingard will fall back in line as Joshua Spence will take that spot away. Jason Bottoms way down the racetrack, not down the front straightaway. Maybe got a little bit pushed off the turn 4. Calvin Smith out of the race lead. Now we'll see how well the 2 tires can manage. I don't think the two tires typically can be faster in this section car, especially with clean air. So we'll see if Calvin Smith, maybe that might be a little bit better to stay out in the race lead, especially with Daniel Jackson, as they'll have the clean air now as Cameron Gilmore. He's going to have to find his way by you. by them now, as Cameron Gilmore, he's had the clean air all night long tonight. Now he's got to work his way through traffic, but he does have a little bit of fresher tires, so maybe the 4 tires could play a factor if we go at the very tail end of this run, but usually the 2 tires will play a bigger factor, be a little bit quicker, so we'll see if that works for Calvin Smith. So Calvin Smith is still out in the race lead by a couple tenths over Daniel Jackson now, but Calvin Smith, he's been up front all night long, just around that top 5, so now he's got the clean air. We'll see if Calvin Smith, if he can hold on to the race lead for the next 36 laps. We do have 1 green flag pit stop if we go green to the end. That could shake up a lot of things. You don't want to make a mistake on pit road, especially now, as that will end your night and end your chances of any good to finish, especially this late for this one. But right now, Calvin Smith out to about a 4/10 of a second lead as everyone's single filed out now throughout the rest of the field. As you have a couple drivers peeking out of line, as you see there's goes back from 13th, Group peeks out of line to try and get by David Wells, but now he's under attack from Brandon Newton, and now Jason Bottoms following through down through 3. As Ryla will stand on the outside, side by side with Jason Bottoms in turn number 3. They'll stay side by side between Cody Pruitt and David Wells. In turn number 1 is Pruitt will take that spot away from David Wells, but Brandon Newton, Brandon Newton actually went in front of him now. Apologies. So with David Wells under attack here for Jason Bottoms, he's going to try and take his spot back. Now, Logan Gill, one of those drivers who was up in that top 5, made a mistake earlier in this race, as now he's trying to work his way back up. The loud calls the glass caution. Would drive way out of the racetrack. Dorian Hamilton spins out of the apron. Is he going to keep it on the apron? Yes, he will, but the caution will come out. So just inside that caution range to trigger that, and that will be the yellow here with 35 laps to go. But that brings out the yellow for Dorian Hamilton. Jason Bottoms saw him, one of those drivers making those moves right around that Logan Gill battle. He was sitting at 14. Logan Gill looks like he was that last yellow, had a little bit of damage. It looks like the damage looks very good now, but now at 35 to go, that's going to be another heat cycle on those 4 fresh tires for Cameron Gilmore. This is going to work out really well for Calvin Smith and Daniel Jackson. So we'll see how well these 2 tires hold on. Now these drivers, they will, in about 10 more laps, the fuel window will be open for the finish. So without 25, maybe a little bit more if you're staying in 5th gear. A lot of the times you want to shift here. Shifting is typically faster, but if you're about 25 laps was the kind of the fuel number. You don't shift, just kind of stay in 5th gear the whole race, whole run. You can maybe stretch it to about 26, 27. So we'll see. Maybe, I mean, if you get another yellow, maybe about 5 more laps in. So yellow kind of around 29 to go. You could see some drivers come down pit road, maybe just try and save a little bit of fuel and stay in 5th gear. So we'll see how that plays out with some pit strategy. But it looks like I don't expect anyone to pit here, as they only been out for 6 laps, and 2 of those have pretty much been on the yellow. So these drivers pretty much only have about 4 laps on their tires. So don't expect anyone to pit here early on. We'll see how that plays out for some of these drivers. Pace car will stay on the racetrack, so it'll take the 2 to go this time by. But Daniel Jackson looking like he should have come down pit road. He'll fake it though. So some of these drivers try to fake it down pit road. Now that yellow's been about, I believe that was our 4th or 5th yellow of the night. Right now, Calvin Smith is the race leader, and Daniel Jackson. They're on 2 tires. They're on 2 tires, so they took 2 tires that last caution. Looks like it's working well for them. They were able to stay out in front of Cameron Gilmore. Gilmore not able to make any moves yet, but we'll see. Maybe that could play out. But this yellow is going to help those drivers on the 2 tires much easier, much more now there. So looks like no one coming down pit. A couple drivers, only about 5 drivers coming down pit road there. So it was Trenton Besgrove, Jason at the bottom, Scott Kerber, Dorian, Stephen Horner, Mike Marshall, and Dakota Bly all coming down pit road there in that last during that caution. So, and they looks like just maybe fuel only for Besgrove, Bottoms, and Kerber. Fuel only for some of those drivers. So Dakota Bly is actually 55 seconds as well, so maybe taking a little bit of damage repair. But so a couple drivers coming down pit road there, maybe fuel only. It looks like we're still gonna need 1 more pit stop. These drivers can't make it to the finish just yet, so we'll see how that plays out for some of these drivers. But Calvin Smith, Daniel Jackson will be 1st and 2nd on the front row, so they'll still on the 2 right side tires. Look better and better for those drivers. The more yellows we have. I think if we get a quick caution here, I think we could really kind of start to see. We can see maybe a fuel strategy, a fuel window might be able to open up. I think these drivers can probably go about 27 laps on the run if they're staying in 5th here, kind of just backing off and taking it easy. But if we do get a yellow, you could see possibly a few mileage race. We get a yellow with about 30 to go. As these drivers, when they restart, they'll be about 27 to go if we do get a yellow in a couple of laps time. But we'll see how that plays out. But right now, Calvin Smith and Daniel Jackson, they've been in the top 5 all night long. But it's been Cameron Gilmore to dominate this one. But now Gilmore, he's stuck in track position. He has to make his move, and he can't find his way by, as the dirty air has just been a big problem. As no one really can get within a couple tenths of each other. With that dirty air, so I think clean air is just a big factor. This may have been a really good call for Calvin Smith and Daniel Jackson for these 2 tires. They still have a long way to go here, but they do only need to go about probably 5 more laps on these tires, and it's probably gonna be better to take 2 tires after the long run as well. But you can see a wide option of strategies if we do go green to the finish. Kind of with pit strategies. They also pit road. We have not seen green flag pit stops tonight. That can really shake up a lot of things. So many mistakes can be made on pit road. But we'll see how that plays out for some of these drivers with the iRacing pace car. We'll take that hard left turn onto pit road once again here from Indianapolis. It'll be Calvin Smith, Daniel Jackson on the front row, Gilmore, Rafferty, and Norris round out the top 5 as they'll work their way back to the unsponsored restart zone. Green flag back in the air here from the Brickyard. The OHKAYA 212. As Calvin with a good launch. Daniel Jackson once again under attack from Cameron Gilmore into turn number 1. Just like last restart, they're going to stay side by side. Jackson, though, is going to have the outside lane as Cameron Gilmore sitting there in 3rd. Still going to stay side by side to the inside, as now this might be his opportunity to take the second spot away from Daniel Jackson, and it will. He'll take that second spot away down the back straightaway now. Rusty Rafferty, he's going to try and get to the inside of Daniel Jackson. We do have a car around in the back. I believe it was Logan Gill once again, and it was Logan Gill around on hard on the inside wall. Heavy damage. He's no cautions. Will stay green, but right now 3 wide for this position here for 3rd as Daniel Jackson trying to hold on as Austin Norris trying to take that spot away. Rusty Rafferty as well, triple run as he's blinking out a little bit, so apologies for that one, but Rusty Rafferty gets to the wall a little bit, almost gets into Austin Norris. They'll stay side by side for that spot as well. And one driver coming to pit road there is Mike Marshall, but down the front straightaway into turn number 1 as Austin Norris trying to take that spot away from blinking Rusty Rafferty. Rusty Rafferty will hold on to 4th. Daniel Jackson only losing the spot to Cameron Gilmore, but now Cameron Gilmore on 4th fresh tires compared to Calvin Smith's 2. But now a heat cycle on those tires. We'll see if he can chase him down, but Calvin Smith able to pull away a little bit right now as he's got that clean air to his advantage. So you have Joshua Smith trying to hold off Cody Pruitt right now. Cody Pruitt out of the inside of Joshua Smith. That's through turn number 4. Cody Pruitt on the bottom. Joshua Smith side by side here down the front straightaway. Looks like they say single file for down here, but now it's 29 laps. So Honda will open about 4 laps here under green. We could see some of these drivers maybe take pit very early, maybe get 2 tires. Especially kind of with track conditions being a very big importance here. Pitting early might not be a bad idea. We'll see how that plays out. Who will kind of pit early, who risks that pit stop. You don't want to pit too, really, kind of maybe only work for maybe the top 5 or 10 right now. As if you do pit, if you're towards the back and you pit, you might lose a lap. You don't want that to happen. So we'll see how that plays out for some of these drivers with some pit strategy. Right now, single file though for the top 10. There's a few drivers side by side towards the mid pack there. There's Derek Riley trying to make the move on Brandon Newton. As actually Braden Van Wingert, he blinked out there for a minute, and he's actually off the track as he is falling back. But we'll see if Wingert will pop back in, but he was running into the top 10. It looks like Wingert is off the racetrack, so unfortunate there. Looks like he may have throughput from the session. Unfortunate for Wingert, as he was having a really good night tonight. More trying to chase down Calvin Smith, but Derek Riley closest battle on the track right now. These drivers are just kind of all in line right now. At about a 10th, Brandon Newton with a good run. We'll see if he makes a move into turn 1. Gonna stay clear there. But David Wells into turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Jason Bottoms holding on to 12th. One of the drivers who popped off on full swing. Go a little bit longer for Jason Bottoms. Maybe have a kind of a drastic fuel save. You could maybe try it, but also if he does get a yellow, you could stay out a little bit longer. Just try maybe if it does turn into a lot of cautions, you could stay out. You try to save some fuel under the cautions. So we'll see how that plays out. But Cody Pruitt now close battle on the racetrack, and stays side by side as he's right behind Cody Dorsey. As Cody Dorsey was trying to get to the inside of Joshua Smits, but Schmitz able to hold on down the front straightaway. Cody Dorsey still holding on to second, that 8th place spot, right behind that 2 machine of Joshua Schmitz. As Logan Gill, he just got an incident. He was looking out of the way, but of course, all these drivers around the outside with the dirty air, way up the racetrack. But Logan Gill! Oh, Logan Gill just turns right into Brandon Newton. It looks like an intentionally wrecked there from Logan Gill. Wonder maybe he got loose, but it looked like he just hooked it right into Brandon Newton. It looked like he collected a few others. Brandon Newton, heavy damage. Wow. Big incident there, and that's to take Brandon Newton out of a top 10 run. And Brandon Newton, he does have a fast repair, so if he can limp it back around and pick up his fast repair, but that right front is damaged. He'll be lucky if he can limp this back around for Brandon Newton. We'll see. It looks like he's got pretty good turn in it there. So, it looks like the you see the the wheel is completely backwards, as the wheels as the kind of the inside of the wheel there is showing forward, but it looks like he's able to limp it back around. Let's take a look at what happened here. As it looked like Logan Gill just right hooked it. And, let's take a look at Logan Gill here. Logan Gill on the bottom of the racetrack, just looking, staying on the apron. Looks like he just kind of looked right. He did clip the curve there, not that it did anything. He just kind of lazy to the right there. See if we can go on board with Logan Gill. So Logan Gill is the engine sounds are a little messed up here, but Logan Gill on the apron. We'll see it. We'll see what happened here. And he just hooked it right. So an intense wreck from Logan Gill into Brandon Newton. And it took out a couple others, so especially expect a post-race penalty for that one. but it collects Brandon Newton, and Jason Bottoms got a piece of that as well. So another Jason Bottoms, just an innocent bystander. Be lucky if he didn't get any wheel damage from that. But that does bring out the caution, and that does bring out a yellow with here a 25 to go. It's yellow with 25 to go, so that fuel window is fully open. That will shake up all the strategies, and now everyone will have to come down here. Oh, but Calvin Smith looks like he overshot the box. He had to back up. This could be big for Cameron Gilmore if he can get this the race lead back here. As Calvin Smith, everyone taking 4 tires, but Cameron Gilmore. Big pit road mistake for Calvin Smith. That's going to cost him a lot of time, as he's going to fall all the way back outside the top 5. He's going to fall all the way back to 7th. Big pit road mistake for Calvin Smith, as you think it happened under green flag stops, but is just as prone to it under caution. Just overshot his box, just missed his mark just by a little bit, and that is detrimental, especially on pit road. And Calvin Smith will fall back to 7th after a great 2-tire call earlier that got him the race lead. And a big pit road mistake there. We'll see if Calvin Smith, though, he does have good pace. We'll see if he can work his way back up, but track vision is such an importance tonight. It's going to be very hard for him to work his way up. We'll see how that plays out for those drivers, for Calvin Smith. But Cameron Gilmore will take the race lead back from that one. So now Cameron Gilmore, we'll see. Once he got the lead earlier, he was able to hold out in front and just kind of hold it. So we'll see if Daniel Jackson, if he's got anything for Cameron Gilmore. Cameron Gilmore now will be the race leader. Daniel Jackson will be 2nd. Rusty Rafferty will be 3rd. Austin Orson 4th, and Dan Verone will be 5th. The yellow there from Logan Gill, potentially wrecking Brandon Newton. Unfortunate caution there, but Brandon Newton, it looks like he did. Brandon Newton, unfortunately for Brandon Newton, he did have his fastest pair still, and was able to limp it back. So he looks like he'll still line up inside the top 15. So he only lost a couple spots from that one. But really unfortunate is he's just got his race taken out of, but he's going to lose pretty crucial spots there for Brandon Newton. But luckily he did have this fast pair and he still can take, but he doesn't have any, he can't rely on it anymore. He does get in another incident. But Brandon Newton will still line up back in 14th. Another one, innocent bystander in that at all, it was Jason Bottoms, and he still got heavy damage to that one. He's got a lot of kind of front end to right front damage. Looks like the wheels appear to be okay. So if he doesn't have any wheel damage, he can just kind of fix that aero. He should be just fine. But I think coming down pit road, he did fix a minute and a half. So I think he did get wheel damage there. So just unfortunate for Jason Bottoms, innocent bystander and all that, had nothing to do with that incident, and just nowhere to go. Unfortunate for Jason Bottoms. We'll see. He's gonna have to try and hopefully get a couple more cautions to maybe fix some of the damage. He's still back in 19th. He is still on the lead lap, so he still has an opportunity to still salvage a decent finish out of that one, which is unfortunate there. But right now, it is going to be Cameron Gilmore, Daniel Jackson on the front row with the 22 lap to go restart. So everyone can make it to the finish on fuel here. So no green flag pit stops. No one will have to pit anymore during this race. But we'll see how the strategy plays out. If we do get another caution, we'll see how it plays out for some of these drivers. But Cameron Gilmore, Daniel Jackson on the front row. We'll see if Cameron Gilmore, if he can hold the lead like he was able to before. Daniel Jackson, he's shown some speed as well. We'll see if he can take it away from Cameron Gilmore. Green flag, back in the air. Good launch for Cameron Gilmore, as he's going to get clear before he even gets to the one. They're going to stay side by side with Daniel Jackson and Rusty Rafferty. They're going to side by side into turn number 1 as Rusty Rafferty, he will take that second spot away, but Daniel Jackson's going to get loose through turn 1. He's going to collect Dan Barone. Dan Barone holds on to it on the apron there. He'll keep it straight. Everyone saves it as everyone's going to scatter around him, but Daniel Jackson, big moment in turn 1, collects Dan Barone. Everyone saves it. Great saves from all those drivers, but that's going to cost Dan Barone a lot of spots, and that's going to cost Daniel Jackson an extra spot there. He'll fall back behind Austin Norris. As restart calamity is now, Rusty Rafferty moves up to second. He's going to try and chase down Cameron Gilmore for the race lead, as he's now 3/10 of a second behind him. Austin Norris will inherit that third place spot, but Dan Barone trying to regather. He's still sitting in for 7th, got his momentum back now, but everyone to get a fishtail down the front straightaway, trying to break the draft. As now it's going to be track position game to the finish, as now no one has to pit. You can't really play strategy here unless you get a caution. You can play some tire strategy. There's going to be no more fuel strategy to the end of this one. Cody Dorsey side by side here with Derek Riley. Derek Riley will stay behind Cody Dorsey. But up in front of him, oh, Austin Norris wham to the outside wall off of turn number 2. He's going to get passed by Calvin Smith, Daniel Jackson, Joshua Smith, and now Dan Barone with a massive run. He's going to go 3 wide down the back straightaway into 3. Can Barone make a 2-for-1 move? And yes, he will, but he's going to try and clear up in front of Joshua Smith. That's just send Schmitz up in the outside of Daniel Jackson, as Daniel Jackson just falling back worse and worse off this restart. Daniel Jackson not having the restart he wanted. He's falling all the way to the back here, falling back to about 8th now as he restarted in second. Very bad restart for Daniel Jackson. He's trying to regather, just trying to clear his mind, just trying to get back going so he can pick up some few extra spots. We lost crucial track position there as Besgrove hits the wall behind him. Now Cody Dorsey trying to take that spot away from Besgrove as well. They stay side by side, but fortunate for Calvin Smith, he's now back up to 3rd after that crucial pit road mistake. Overshot his box from that pit road, under pit road there, under the yellow. But Cody Dorsey, he'll take that 9th place spot away, but now Derek Riley going to try and take the inside out, take that 10th, break the top 10, and take that 10th spot away from Trenton Besgrove. We're not going to be able to do it. In front of this, Cameron Gilmore. He still has about a 3/10 of a second gap over Rusty Rafferty. It looks like most of the field is single file out, but these top 2, after that, all that calamity with Daniel Jackson, Dan Barone, and Austin Norris, that is really shaking up the field. It's now that allows Rusty Rafferty and Cameron Gilmore to break the field, break away from the field by about a 1.5 seconds. Rusty Rafferty blinking out there for a second, but he's trying to just follow the draft of Cameron Gilmore, as Gilmore's just trying to break the draft, doesn't want to get Gilmore any closer than he has to. He's just trying to play the track position game here. Joshua Smith trying to chase down Dan Barone. Track position used to be the big factor tonight. Now Cody Brewer trying to take the spot away for Daniel Jackson. And Austin Norris. Austin Norris gets really loose there off of turn number 4. So yeah, Cody Brewer on the back bumper maybe got packed the air on the spoiler, and after maybe got Austin Norris really loose off of 4, he'll fall behind Cody Dorsey. Cody Dorsey will move up to 8th, but Cody Brewer will take the spot away. But everyone knows the tail pretty much outside the top 5, as all these drivers within only a couple tenths of each other. 6th on back. And now Brandon Newton, Brandon Newton trying to take that spot back away as he's side by side with Derek Riley. Good recovery from Brandon Newton, got it touching back there, that last caution. He's able to limit back around, good work for him. He's back up to 12th, so back to where he was running when that incident happened.
far. Everyone kind of single file right now, just taking their time here. So Trevor's settling in for a little bit of a run. They still have 73 to go. Tires will be a factor at the very end of this race if you stay green. You don't want to overheat your tires here. You still got to keep your tires under you. The closest battle on the racetrack here. I mean, it's kind of fluctuating. We have a car around it! And Calvin Smith goes around off of turn 2. It looks like 48 there. Tristan Besgrove has to take evasive action to avoid it. And he spins, and Derek Riley gets tags him. But wow, Calvin Smith, though, bad gone to worse as he had a pit road mistake, overshot his box, fell outside the top 5. Had a good restart, jumped back up to the top 3, and a big incident there is actually Wingard as he actually has a lot of damage as he blinked out there and a throughput, but Calvin Smith just losing it off of turn number 2. He's running in 3rd. Big mistake for Calvin Smith there off of turn number 2. Oh, has to keep it off the wall. Looks like he got loose. Overcorrect back up the racetrack. Going to be heavy right front damage there, and everyone else has to take evasive action. You know, a couple others. A 7 machine there. Kugshausen gets a big piece of that as he takes evasive action to avoid that. Besgrove got loose and tagged Derek Riley, so a couple others getting involved, and that one just trying to take evasive action, but the caution brings the yellow out here with 15 laps to go. So now let's take up a little bit of strategy. These drivers have been out on the racetrack for about 9 laps, so tires will be a little bit different. But I think probably the correct call for some of these drivers will just be to stay out. As you've seen it with Cameron Gilmore, and it was with Calvin Smith and Daniel Jackson when they took 2 tires earlier. And they only had it was about a 10 lap difference on the tires. They pitted, took 2 tires, and they were able to hold out in front pretty well. So I think Travis is just going to be the big play here for some of these drivers. We'll see if anyone maybe towards the tail of the back. Maybe they might take tires. It might work out a little bit for them towards the tail of the back. But I don't expect some of these leaders to pit. As Cameron Gilmore and Rusty Rafferty, they both look like they were going to pit, but it looks like Gilmore and Rafferty, they'll both fake it. So they'll both stay out on pit road. Cody Dorsey, heavy damage. Actually, he got a piece of that. Cody Dorsey, we'll have to take a look at that one, but a lot of the guys towards the back end of the field there. So kind of the drivers a lap down. So Robert Wibble, Wibble actually got back on the lead lap as he was a couple laps down earlier. Dakota Blythe, Scott Kerber. So everyone outside the top 10 there will come down pit road. So we'll see how that works out. But we'll also get to see some of these drivers will just come down to pit road to fix their damage they may have just had. So let's take a look at Cody Dorsey. He did take his fast repair there. Let's take a look at Cody Dorsey, what happened during that during that incident, as he had a lot of damage. So it looks like he may have got a lot of damage trying to avoid that incident there. So yeah, it looks like he got loose, getting on the brakes, trying to slow down for it, and it looks like it looks like he just shot his car to the right, and he got a lot of damage on the right side. So you kind of saw a piece of it there, but now we're a little farther back here, so we can see the whole thing. So you see the wreck out in front of him. He gets hard on the brakes and hard on the outside wall. So Cody Dorsey, just unfortunate there. He's able to take his fast here, get back out there on the racetrack. But all those drivers there taking 4 tires. Trenton Besgrove, he only takes 2 tires, so only 9-second stop. But everyone looking like everyone other than Besgrove takes 2 tires there. Everyone takes 4 tires there, and Besgrove will take 2. The top 10 stays down on the racetrack. So we'll see if those 10-lap fresher tires for those drivers maybe might work out a little bit for some of those drivers there. We'll see, maybe they can drive their way through the field, but traffic is going to be very big importance, and that's really been the key of what we've seen tonight. We'll see if it works out for some of those drivers in the back. Maybe they might be able to pick up a few more spots. But Cameron Gilmore has been the driver of the beat tonight. He's just been dominant out in front. No one really had anything for him. Daniel Jackson and Calvin Smith, they took 2. They were able to stay out in front of him. So we'll see if Cameron Gilmore, see if he can hold on for the next 14 laps, as he did have Rusty Rafferty try to chase him down to that last run. He's ranking the draft pretty well. We'll see how well Cameron Gilmore can hold the race lead. We'll take the 1-to-go signal this time by the top 10. Will all stay out on the racetrack with about 10 lap old tires. And everyone else down pit rows for 4 fresh tires. But now here we'll restart with 12 to go here from the Brickyard for the OHKAYA 212. The opening race of the season, the Quantum Contender Series. This was previously the Undisputed Cup Series. If you are just joining us here from the joining us here on the Legends Racing Network. So it was previously the Undisputed Cup Series, so this is kind of the second season. We've seen a lot of new drivers here for rookies and a couple of veterans of the season series, as Rusty Rafferty was joined the Undisputed Cup Series last season. So he's looking to try and make a charge for the championship. Was strong in his last few races when he joins. So we'll see if Rusty Rafferty can maybe pick up a win here. Will be the rookie of Cameron Gilmore, able to take the win here. But we're going to start here with 12 laps to go here from the Brickyard. Green flag back in the air here for the Brickyard as Cameron Gilmore with a really good launch once again. He's been really good on these restarts. He's going to be clear for the lead as now Dan Barone trying to take that second spot away, and a great launch for Dan Barone. He'll take the second spot away. He's going to try and chase down Cameron Gilmore. Barone having a really good night as well. He got shuffled back to the outside the top 10 earlier, but now he's worked his way back up to second now. Down the back straightaway now. Most of the drivers single filed out down the back straightaway. It's Austin Norris. He's got 2 drivers side by side behind him. David Wells in Brandon Newton just inside the top 10. As some of these drivers that just came down pit road to take tires, so we'll see if it works out for them. Cody Dorsey being one of them. We'll see the new tires make a difference. Cameron Gilmore still holding the race lead for now. So far the top 10 about single file. Got a couple of drivers side by side here. Derek Riley trying to get around the 25 of Dorian Hamilton. Dorian Hamilton was the last driver that did not come down pit road, so he was sitting in tent and stayed out on the racetrack. So he's been taken advantage of for now. It's a couple of drivers with Cody Dorsey on fresh tires. He's worked his way up tonight. We'll see how well. He was running about 8th when he pitted, but he got involved in that. Did get involved in that last caution. Over the contact into the wall for David Wells, and now Brandon Newton had a really good run on Cody Dorsey. Dorsey got tight as well. Dorsey will take the 8th spot away, but Dorsey was running 8th. He had to avoid the incident for Calvin Smith as he got on the brakes hard on the outside wall. He went, so he had to come down to take his fast fare. He took tires while he had the opportunity. So Cody Dorsey, we'll see if he can make his way and drive his way through the field a little bit on the fresher tires. Cody Pruitt, though, he's trying to make the move on Joshua Smith for that 4th place spot. He's drifting the inside off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Pruitt's got the run. He's got help from off of Daniel Jackson now as well. So they both clear Joshua Smith as Schmitz will fall back to 6th. Just in front of them, Rusty Rafferty and Dave Barone trying to work together to chase down the race leader of Cameron Gilmore. As Gilmore has when he has the lead, he has not looked back, and he's just been able to keep it pretty much the whole race long. This time by with 9 laps to go, he's breaking the draft, trying to fishtail down the front straightaway. Just giving the dirty air to the drivers behind. They are fighting for this top 5 right now. Daniel Jackson trying to hold on, trying to fight for a top 5. Joshua Smith trying to take it away. Austin Norris just behind him as well. Also Cody Dorsey, he's trying to chase down these drivers as he's on a little bit fresher tires. Cody Dorsey not really faster on the fresher tires compared to the race leaders right now, so tires really not making a difference. Just about that clean air and traffic, and that's been Cameron Gilmore's way to go tonight. Once he's been in the lead, no one's been able to challenge him, and that's kind of how it's been for the leader all night tonight. Whoever's in the lead, no one really can challenge him. But now Rusty Rafferty, he's got a good run on Dan Barone. He's trying to take that spot away from Dan Barone. Dan Barone blinks out a little bit there from seconds. Rusty Rafferty will take that second place spot away as Dan Barone is blinked out. Now they're going to be side by side off the exit. They're going to make contact off two as Barone blinks back in. As Rafferty made contact, but Rafferty will take the second spot away as he will clear for second. Which are there, Rafferty cannot see Dan Barone. Barone blinked out there for a couple of seconds. Barone with a really good run off of 2. He's going to run a shot down on the 3. He'll stay behind Rusty Rafferty. That little bit of contact there, that battle for those 2 drivers, that loses them about a half a second for the race lead. So now about almost a second and a half lead for Cameron Gilmore now. He's just hoping he stays here at the finish and hopes he doesn't have to go through another restart. With 7 to go, we'll see how well these drivers can hold on. As most of these drivers single file. As Daniel Jackson trying to have a look on Cody Brewer for 4th. As most of the field kind of spread out between 2 car tandems here. Rusty Rafferty trying to chase down the race leader of Cameron Gilmore. As the gap still staying about the same, only about 1.3 seconds. This time by with 6 laps to go. Can Cameron Gilmore make it back to the white flag? Daniel Jackson, this is opportunity for Cody Brewer for that 4th place spot. Had a really good run off turn number 2. Down the next straightaway, side by side into 3. Brewer's going to get forced up to the outside lane. And Daniel Jackson will take that 4th spot away. Daniel Jackson, he's had good pace as well, but he just, last couple restarts ago, has not had the restart he wanted. Lost a lot of spots. Now he's going to work his way back up. He's up to 4th, but he's really far back. He's going to have to hope for a caution. He wants to have anything for Cameron Gilmore. As it looks like just Gilmore, the leader, is just no one has anything for the race leader. It's kind of been that all night long. Gilmore has been able to hold the lead, but when he did lose the lead, no one really had anything for the new leader, Calvin Smith. Joshua Smith is trying to take that spot away now from Cody Pruitt. Pruitt's starting to fall back a little bit. So he's trying to hold on to the top 5 finish with 5 to go here from Indy. As Joshua Smith's trying to get by Cody Pruitt, but he loses a little bit of time. He's got Austin Norris right behind him. It's the closest battle on the racetrack. As everyone's just kind of single file trying to find their way by each other. Austin Norris, big moving off of turn 2 as the show gets really loose, goes way down the racetrack. That's a lot. Cody Dorsey go around the outside. Power move for Cody Dorsey. He'll take that 7th place spot away. So he He had pinned that last caution. He's worked his way up a little bit, but really the new tires have really not been a big difference at all. But Austin Orr's big mistake there as he's actually now under attack from Derek Riley. But now this time by 3 laps to go for Cameron Gilmore. Just has to get back to the white flag to kind of win this one. No one really has anything for him right now. Rusty Grafton cannot close him down. But down the front straightaway, everyone single file. Everyone's just trying to break the dirty air bubble of the car in front of them, but just can't do it. This time by will be 2 laps to go. 5 miles left to go when we go. This time by. Especially Rafferty though, it looks like he may have got the wall a couple laps ago. He's got a lot of front end damage there. Just have to hope for a yellow if he wants to have any opportunity to try and fix it, but he's been able to hold on to second. This time by 2 laps to go here from Indianapolis. As Cameron Gilmore, he qualified second tonight. It's been a dominant performance. When he's been at the lead, he's been able to hold the race lead. No one really has anything for him. Just a clean air. Track position seems to be the key tonight, and he has been dominant all night long. Did lose the lead to a little bit of strategy, but got it back off pit road with a great pit stop. Now he just has to make it one more time around. Off of turn number 4, Cameron Gilmore will take the white flag here at the Brickyard. 2.5 miles for Cameron Gilmore to win the season opener for the OHKAYA 212. But off on turn number 2, final time down the back straightaway, a 1.5 gap on back. No one can challenge Cameron Gilmore. A dominant performance, a dominant way to make a statement here for the season opener. It led the most laps, qualified on the outside pole, qualified in seconds. But once he got the lead, he never looked back. Off of turn number 4, coming to the Yard of Bricks for the final time. Cameron Gilmore is going to win at the Brickyard and will win the season opener for the Quantum Contender Series. Daniel Jackson gives him a little congratulatory push into turn number 3. But a great win for Cameron Gilmore, who easily led the most laps of the night. Qualified in seconds. Was able to play the track position perfectly. Able to make a great pit stop when he needed to get the lead back. Able to win it. So it'll be Rusty Rafferty, Dan Barone, Daniel Jackson, and Cody Pruitt around at the top 5. But Cameron Gilmore, he'll have the right to burn it down here on the front straightaway for a win, for season opener winner, as he will burn it down. A couple others do burn it down with him. His teammates burning it down with him, but Cameron Gilmore, season opener winner here with the OHKAYA 212. He celebrates the few others out there who will be able to kiss the virtual bricks in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our top 3 interviews here from the Brickyard.
Here at KK Woodscapes, we only work with the finest woods, the finest tools. We sand the wood here at KK Woodscapes. We stir the paint with a wooden stick here at KK Woodscapes. And then we brush the wood with a wooden brush here at KK Woodscapes. And when it's all said and done, we have these perfectly manicured nails. Put the plaques in the trophies, in the envelopes, ship them to your box, and on your way to you to commemorate your special day. Got wood, KK Woodscapes.
Welcome back here to the Brickyard. As you just wrapped up the OHKAYA 212, as well as Cameron Gilmore able to take the race win. Before we get to our top 3 interviews, let's take a quick look at our tonight's results here from the Brickyard. Cameron Gilmore with a dominant performance here tonight, able to win over the Rusty Rafferty. They were in second. Dan Barone in third. We'll talk to those 3 in just a moment. Daniel Jackson picks up the 4th tonight. Rounded the top 5 is the 99 of Cody Pruitt. Joshua Schmitz rounding out 6th. Cody Dorsey in 7th. Derek Riley finishing 8th tonight. Brandon Newton in 9th. Calvin Smith running out of the top 10, finished 11th tonight. Dorian Hamilton, David Wells finishing 12th. Trenton Bezrove in 13th. Brandon Cuxhausen in 14th. Austin Norris 15th. Dakota Bly rounds up at 16th tonight. Scott Kerberg in 17th. Stephen Horner in 18th. Jason Bottoms in 19th. And Braden Van Wingerdon in 20th tonight. Unfortunately, lost connection there. Just about 20 to go. Robert Wibble finished 21st tonight. Mike Marshall in 22nd. Mike DeTregula in 23rd. Kyle Spitz in 24th. And Logan Gill rounds out our 25-car field here tonight. But out in front pretty much all night long, it was the 69 of Cameron Gilmore. As actually we'll bring him in just a moment, as I don't have permissions to move them. So we'll get him in just one moment here. We'll try and fix this out in just a moment. Alright, so we'll talk to them in just a moment. But Cameron Gilmore, our race winner, able to win tonight. A very dominant performance. It was out in front pretty much all night long. Just able to play the strategy perfectly. Just stayed out in front. Just play the trap position perfectly. We didn't see any green flag stops, but that would have been interesting to see tonight if we saw some green flag stops as well. But overall, it was a very solid race for Cameron Gilmore. He's able to take the win.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Oh, welcome in, Cameron. They moved you in here for you, but you're able to take the race win here tonight. But you had a very dominant performance. But just kind of talk to us. You did get cycled out a little bit out of the lead. You got back to third, but kind of talk to us. How was the clean air out in front compared to that dirty air? Just a little bit back in traffic.
Yeah, it was a game changer. First, I want to shout out the guys who make it possible. So Rev Sim Shop, MX Wrap, Spirit Racing, and then my main sponsor, Buckeye Optometry. It's my guy, Bobby. Shout out them for making this possible every week. But yeah, clean air was huge. You know, whenever we took that, I think it was the third stop, and I think two cars took two tires, and they were out in front of me. Just getting in that dirty air was very, very tough to eventually make it around them. But being out in the open, it's such a game changer. The car was fast all night, and we enjoyed seeing a clean track.
Yeah, you were able to dominate out there tonight with that clean air. But you're able to get the first win of the season, and going into next week at New Hampshire for the short track. So can I go completely different? Can I have the unique kind of rectangle racetrack, a 2.5 mile here at Indy, and I go to the short track next week? So kind of how's this momentum going to be able to kind of build here for this win this week, and how are you going to be able to translate that into next week? Yeah,
we'll take it week by week. I have a really great group of teammates that we get each other better every race. But we'll take it race by race. We'll see how we do. You know, I'm still trying to figure out how everyone races in this league, and I know there's a few cautions last night, but talking to guys who raced in this league last season, it sounds like, you know, these races are pretty wide open, and you'll have a lot of green flag stops. So we'll take it next week, just go lap by lap, race by race, and just slowly figure it out.
Yeah, you had a really good performance tonight. We'll see if you can back it up next week at New Hampshire. But before you start off anyway, any sponsor link for tonight's race win?
Yeah, we're just shout out mainly Buckeye Optometry, but Rev Sim Shop, MX Wrap, Spirit Racing, those guys, they all make it possible, and they're all big helps to me, so shout out those guys.
And once again, congrats on the race win, and we'll see you next week at New Hampshire.
Thank you.
So that was our our race winner of tonight of Cameron Gilmore. We're now bringing our second place finisher of Rusty Rafferty. Rusty Rafferty had a very strong momentum and a strong runs at the very end of last season. And tonight you pick it up again and get a very solid second place finish tonight. But just kind of what do you think you could have done differently there through that final kind of restart there to maybe try and chase down Gilmore for the race win?
I got to be perfectly honest. I had nothing for him. He walked away from me. I was hitting the best laps I had hit all night, and he was still pulling me. So I don't really know that there was anything I could have done.
Yeah, but you're still able to pick up a very solid second place run. You had to make a couple passes to work your way up there. Just kind of talk us through how the dirty air tonight, how tough was out there the pass, and how are you able to get it done?
I made up a lot of spots under pit road. I nailed my pit box, I think, about every single time, and I made up 3-4 spots about every single pit. I've been having some internet issues, so I had to start from the pits. That's why I was so far back. Dirty air really wasn't that bad if you could hit your line. It seemed like I was about the only guy running below the white line, so I was kind of always getting a little bit of air on my nose. So I didn't really have that bad tightness that I was seeing everybody else get, but I just didn't have enough to get one more spot.
Yeah, we still pick up a very solid second place finish here for the season opener. But before you stand up on me, any sponsors they think for tonight's second place run?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Cody, Dakota, and Derek for putting these on. These are a lot of fun. This is the most fun experience I've had on iRacing, and I'm very happy to be back. And yeah, thank Quantum, league sponsors Quantum, and Burlington Cafe. And Burlington Cafe is not far from where I grew up, so if I ever get back home, I'm gonna do my best to try to get over there and have a meal, but we'll see.
And once again, congrats on your second place finish tonight. We'll see you next week at New Hampshire.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
And now, that was our second place finisher of Rusty Rafferty. We'll now bring in our third place finisher tonight of Dan Barone. Dan Barone had a little bit of up and down night as well. Most of your night was running up in that top 5 to just outside the top 5 all night long. But you did get shuffled out a little bit there, kind of the middle part of that race. You got shuffled out to that top 10. So just kind of talk us through how are you able to claw your way back up to the top 5 after getting shuffled out there earlier.
Yeah. The first time, it was my fault. I lost it coming off of 2, and I just had to work my way back, just running those fast laps, running clean, and just trying to get into every corner as quick as I can.
Yeah, you're able to work your way up tonight, back up to 3rd. You were battling there late, kind of around the 2nd with Rusty Rafferty. You lost it just with a couple laps to go. So kind of what do you think you could have done differently there to maybe try and hold on to 2nd and maybe trying anything to chase down for the race win?
Man, maybe get new internet. I don't know. I went out there for a little bit, and so I don't know what happened, but I tried to give him as much room. And sorry for getting to Rusty there, but yeah, that was totally on me. Might be calling me ISP tomorrow to try to figure out what happened there.
Yeah, but overall, you still had a very solid run tonight, able to claw your way back up after that internet issue, but able to get a nice, solid third-place run for the season opener here tonight. Before we send off on the way, any sponsors to thank for tonight's third-place run?
No, just me. Just had a great time, and it's a great league, so a lot of fun here.
And once again, congrats on your third-place run. We'll see you next week at New Hampshire.
All right, thank you.
So that was Dan Barone, our third-place finisher here tonight from the Brickyard. That was definitely a fun one here tonight. We saw a little bit of different strategies playing out in front. But most of all, it was Cameron Gilmore able to take the dominant performance here tonight from the Brickyard. But before we send it off here from the Legends Racing Network, coming up next here on the Legends Racing Network, tomorrow night we'll have the NAR Cup Series. They will start the round of 8 of their playoffs tomorrow night at Talladega at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on tomorrow night here on the Legends Racing Network. Next Wednesday, we'll have the Superstar ARCA East Series. They'll be going to Las Vegas at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time next Wednesday night, and we'll be back here for the Quantum Contender Series, race number 2 of the season, at New Hampshire, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time next Thursday night. It was definitely a fun one here from the Brickyard. I'm so happy for you all to join us here on the Legends Racing Network. I'm Aaron Brown, and I'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network. So long here for the Brickyard.